before we begin, let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Farson, could you certify that we have a quorum this morning?
Yes, sir.
We do.
Town of Ashland.
Here.
Vice Chair Hodges.
Here.
Dr. McGraw. Charles City County, Mr. Atkins.
Here.
Mr. Coda. Chesterfield County, Mr. Carroll. Mr. Winslow. Richland County, Mr. Spoonhour.
Here.
Ms. Lascolette. Hanover County, Mr. Peterson.
Here.
Mr. Davis.
Here.
Thank you.
My apologies.
That's okay. That's okay. I will mark you as present. Henrico County, Mr. Thornton.
Yeah, that's funny.
Ms. O'Bannon. New Kent County, Ms. Page. Mr. Lockwood. Powhatan County, Mr. Byerly. Mr. McClung. City of Richmond, Chair Stoney.
Here.
Mr. Jones. Virginia House of Delegates, Delegate Robinson.
She's here, coming in.
Thank you. Senate of Virginia, Senator Hashmi. Here. Commonwealth Transportation Board, Mr. Davis.
Here.
Thank you. Capital Region Airport Commission, Mr. Miller.
Present.
GRTC, Ms. Adams.
Here.
Ms. Torres. RMTA, Ms. Dean. DRPT, Mr. Bull. Mr. Trogdon.
Here.
VDOT, Mr. Gritch. Mr. Totten.
Here.
Mr. Riblett. Virginia Port Authority, Mr. Edwards. Ms. Vick. Ms. Nelson.
Here.
Thank you. And I have noted your attendance, both of your attendance
Thank
as
you.
well.
Thank
Thank you. That concludes the roll call for attendance. We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Firestone. And we do have Mr. Davis with the CTB with us this morning. It was a little out of order on the on the roll call, but Mr. Davis, welcome to the Central Virginia Transportation Authority. We appreciate your participation and the participation of the Commonwealth as well. So
Thank you. I'm honored to serve the Commonwealth and honored to be a part of this group. And as you can tell, I'm probably a little eager to get started.
there we go. As far as we'll move on to the administration, section A for administration, the item is the confirmation of member participation from a remote location. I did receive a request for the Port of Virginia the Port of Virginia's representative to join us remotely due to distance, and I've accepted this request. We need to do a motion to confirm my decision to approve the port's request. Mr. Parsons or Mr. Gregory, Ms. Firestone, could you please read the language for the motion to move forward?
Yes, sir. It would be a motion to approve the member's request to participate from a remote location in conformance with the CVTA policy for remote participation of members, and to certify that the voice of the remotely participating member can be heard by all persons at the primary or central meeting location.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. We'll move on to item 2, consideration of amendments to the action meeting agenda. Are there any considerations for amendments to the action agenda, meeting agenda?
Mr. Chair, I have one. There was a loose handout with an additional standard project agreement when you picked up your packets this morning. It was also emailed out and posted on the website. I would request that this revised format for the CVTA-0002, the Fall Line Trail Design Build Number 1 project, be added as item number 11 under agenda B2D. That would be at the end of the list of the comprehensive list of SPA agreements to consider today.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We moved to second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes. The agenda has been amended. We'll move on to item 3, the approval of the September 29th CVTA full body action meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
The motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We'll move on to,
One abstention.
oh, got one abstention? Please, one abstention. Now we'll move on to the open comment period. Ms. Farson or Mr. Parsons, do we have any public comments via email or online?
Sir.
None? Then we'll move on. We'll move on to item 5, the chairman's report, and I have a few comments for us this morning. First, let me begin by thanking everyone for being here today. And obviously, we're all super excited to share in these activities of strengthening transportation throughout Central Virginia. I wanted to share this morning some upcoming activities or upcoming initiatives I would like to accomplish during my time here as the CVTA chair. First, in alignment of the CVTA planning and projects to the regional long-range transportation plan, by aligning CVTA projects to the goals of the region through a creation of a strategic funding plan, the authority will be able to capture projects already funded as well as those projects to be funded in the future are in line with the region's long-range transportation plan, the LRTP. Now, this will be a unique way for the authority to show how its funding priorities are moving the region forward. There should be a creation of objectives and strategies that the authority can use to help us with our decision-making as well. This alignment, I believe, is important because it will really show how the authority is closing critical gaps in transportation, planning, and also funding. I would like the authority to also be a results-driven agency as well, in which everyone can see how and why projects are chosen, essentially transparency. This information will be available to the taxpayers, and I think it's invaluable to the taxpayers as well, showing everyone that we are strategically funding projects to meet the needs of the entire region. Secondly, I would hope to incorporate Plan RVA's procurement policies into our own CVTA procurement manual as well. This manual will have key milestones and goals specific to the authority and to ensure minority spending and inclusion are always considered here at CVTA. I believe that this sort of inclusion should always be considered, and along with what Mr. Thornton stated in the past, I think this should be the linchpin of what the authority does moving forward. Mr. Parsons, you'll be working on these two items, and I do believe the TAC can also assist with these items as well, if necessary. And Mr. Parsons, with the addition of you now leading our organization, I'm very confident that we're going to go into the next decade and next generation here in Central Virginia, moving in the right direction, no pun intended. All right, now we'll move on to action or to section B on the action items. I know we have several items here that will be needed some motions and some approval, so everybody keep your head on a swivel this morning. Be ready to say aye, okay? All right, so we're gonna go to item 1, the CVTA VDOT SPA revisions. I'm gonna hand it over to Mr. Parsons.
Actually, Mr. Chair, if we can do the audit report first.
Okay, wanna do the audit report? Let's do it.
That's item B1 in the agenda. We do have the audit report included in the packet starting on page 12. And I'm actually gonna cede the floor to Mr. Farnsworth to come forward and address the authority on the audit findings.
Thank you, Chad. I'm Tyler Farnsworth. I'm an audit manager with PB Mayors. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. Yeah. You wanna stand up though?
Yeah, I can stand up.
Okay. Or you can come to the table, how about that?
That might be easier.
Yeah, come on to
I
the
got some
table.
stuff. I'll go.
Grab a seat.
So in your board packet, you should have, the first item I'm gonna go over is the financial statements. So just the cover page looks like this. So we issued 2 opinions in the financial statements. If you flip a couple pages into it, on page 1 is our opinion on the financial statements. And we had an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion, the best opinion we can issue. And then at the very end,
Sure.
the last 2 pages, page 23 and 24, is an opinion on the internal controls over financial reports.
Just quickly to orient everybody, I think the opinions are on page 33 in the packet. They've been renumbered.
Yeah, it says page 12 here. and then-
Okay, thank you.
So yes, at the end of the report, we have another opinion on the internal controls over financial reporting, and we had no findings or any issues to report there. So that was the best opinions we can offer. Okay. Yes. Thank you. So in the financials, I guess there's not much to point out. There's not much activity per se yet. On page 44 is the revenues and expenditures by fund. And the general fund just had some, operating costs and things like that. And then the local distribution fund, a GRTC fund, that's where the money is coming in from the state and then being allocated out to the localities in GRTC and then, dispersed. But I will say the regional revenue fund had 2 reimbursement requests that were recorded this year. So that's the first reimbursement requests that have come through. So I expect that number, as you can see, it was 271,000. That's going to grow year over year as more projects are approved and started and reimbursement requests come in. Does anybody have any questions on the financial statements? Okay, I'm going to move on. We issued a management letter. Let's see which page. Yeah, that's on page 12. Give everybody a second.
Which packet? It's actually page 45 in the agenda package.
Okay.
No, page 12.
There's the green number, and then there's the black number. You're saying 12, which is also page 45, I agree. The green number is 45.
The green 12.
Oh, green 12.
Okay, all the way
All
back
right,
to the
we're all
beginning.
confused, okay, here we go. Green 12 in our, okay. All right.
There was only one item that we reported here that we did not consider significant or material, but we thought it was important enough just to note that the accrued interest receivable on investments, it was calculated and was given to me, but it did not get recorded in the accounting system when they was provided to me. And so that was corrected, and I don't expect that to be repeated next year. So, and the remaining items on there are upcoming accounting standards, which is just more informational. I don't think they'll have a big impact on CVTA currently. So then the next item, you put green 14, is our board report. So it says the results of the audit. The first couple pages are just, information about my firm, and then it goes into a couple of financial highlights of CVTA, but our required communication starts on page 20. So that has, I'm not gonna read through every item, but we had no disagreements with management, we encountered no significant difficulties, everyone was great to work with, Ched and everybody at Chesterfield and Richmond, everybody was responsive and made my job a lot easier, so that was appreciated. Then Exhibit A, that shows the, it's a couple of pages, 24. It's the summary of significant accounting estimates we have to share with you all, and it was only the fair value of investments. And then Exhibit B on the next page is the audit adjustment that was made for that item I just mentioned in the management letter. So that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions, comments.
Any questions for Mr. Farnsworth? Seeing none, Mr. Farnsworth, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate your services.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on to item 2, section B, the action items. Item 2 is the CVTA VDOT SPA revisions, which are located on page 59.
We need a, motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm over here moving through the, all that work that Mr. Farnsworth put in, the mayor's. There's an action requested, it's a motion to approve the FY 23 audit report. We will need to do that by a roll call.
So I'll make the motion to approve the audit report.
Does it come from finance?
Actually,
That's right.
if it did, then the motion's on the floor already.
Yes, sir.
They come from, okay.
Well, then it didn't come from finance, so I made a motion, need a second.
There's a motion, is there a second? It's been seconded. Any discussion? Ms. Firestone? You've been running around.
Vice Chair Hodges,
Aye.
Mr. Atkins,
Aye.
Mr. Carroll,
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour,
Aye.
Mr. Peterson,
Aye.
Mr. Thornton,
Aye.
Chair Stoney,
Aye.
Delegate Robinson,
Aye.
Senator Hashmi, and Mr. Davis. Aye. Thank you, the motion carries.
Motion carries. Now we'll move on to the item 2. Sir. Mr. Parsons.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm actually gonna ask Mr. Gregory to address items A, B, and C under item 2.
Thank you, Mr. Parsons, Mr. Chair, members of the body. Shortly in your hands, you will have a new standard model project agreement. The new standard model project administration agreement has been developed by the TAC in conjunction with VDOT. It's as you recall, the MOA that the CVTA has with VDOT has an attachment to it, an exhibit that is the standard form contract for all the projects that are funded by the CVTA and administered by VDOT. In working through the Fall Line Trail project, we utilized a shorter form agreement that was also a VDOT form for that project, and in so doing, we discovered that it worked a lot better. And the TAC and VDOT and everyone involved in that thought that if it worked for the Fall Line Trail, why couldn't we use the shorter form contract and reduce that down from about 30 or 40 page agreement to about a 8 or 10 page agreement for CVTA projects. So we've been working on that for a number of months now, and the TAC has been heavily involved in that. And so before you, in just a few minutes, for some reason, it did not get into the meeting packet. There will be a model project, new standard model project agreement for you to approve this morning by motion. Then that'll be action item A. Then action item B will be to approve and authorize the execution of the draft first amendment to the VDOT CVTA MOA, which will be the amending the MOA to incorporate the new standard model project agreement as the new exhibit or attachment A to that MOA with VDOT. So you have to approve the new form contract, then approve the amendment to the agreement with VDOT to incorporate that new form. And then item C is to actually put that new form contract to work by directing staff to transfer all the existing project information into that new form contract. And then D, which Mr. Parsons will cover in a few minutes, are the actual agreements that you'll see this morning that are in your packet for action. With all the details of each of those 11 projects now, with what the projects are, where they will be, how much will be funded, and although it will be tedious, Mr. Parsons will walk you through a roll call vote to approve each one of those Romanet projects that are in your agenda packet. And we want to be very careful about that and precise because it has to do with a lot of money. So just bear with us as we walk you through that. It should not take that long. Again, in a moment, we're going to have copies of the standard model project agreement. Dorona, would you like to say anything about the tax consideration and action to address that? Or I don't want to put you on the spot, but I didn't want to not defer to you all since you all did a lot of good work on this.
Yeah, I'll just say that TAC did look at it extensively to ensure that what the expectations of the localities were, that they were transferred over to the expectations of VDOT. And then VDOT helped with some wordsmithing. So it was very much a group effort in getting this one document together, probably about 2 or 3 weeks of back and forth and editing. And we feel very good about the final product.
Thank you very much. And I will say that, I'm sorry.
Mr. Gregory, the standard that we picked up out here today for the fall, is this under the new form?
That is an example of the new standard project agreement in action. So that's all the agreements that you have in your packet, and the one that is added to the agenda is in the new form.
All right, what's in the packets in the new form?
Yes, sir.
I started to say it looked like the same to me.
It's the same, it's the
Okay.
same, and there's a good reason for that, because
Okay.
that's the new form agreement. So if you all, and we prepared these, with the hopeful assumption that the body would approve the usage of this model agreement today, on the recommendation of the TAC and staff, and with VDOT's concurrence. So if you all take these actions as are set before you and recommended today, and approve all of the project agreements, then they will be forwarded on to the CTB, which and CTB's staff at VDOT will be presenting them to them for information in November, and I believe they'll be taking action to approve all of these agreements in December, and then also taking action to authorize the administrative approval of these projects in the future, so that the CTB will not have to take action on each one of these agreements going forward, so that the approval process will then be streamlined. So you all will continue to take action on your project agreements, but the CTB hopefully will direct their staff to proceed. As long as each project is in the standard form, it will be approved administratively by the VDOT staff. Assuming the CTB takes that action in December, so.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Mr. Gregory, thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the original standard model project agreement was circulated to all of our county attorneys to review. Has this version been circulated for their review?
No, sir, I did not consult with them simply because, not late in the game. I did confer with them early in the process so that they were aware that was the direction that we were going in. But we were working with VDOT and the TAC, and I relied upon the TAC members to confer with their local legal counsel. I did not do that directly. I asked them and encouraged them to confer with their respective legal counsel on their initiative. Whether they did that, I don't know. I have to assume and hope that they did. I believe, I know Henrico County did, and I believe Goochland did, and I believe the other counties did as well. The TAC members said that they did, so I take them at their word.
I appreciate that, Mr. Gregory, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions comments from Mr. Gregory? Mr. Tompkins?
Mr. Chair, just to add one point of clarity, so it was presented to this concept was presented to the CTB last week at their meeting in Northern Virginia, with the premise that we will be revisiting them in December for approval should this body move forward with this. And I do appreciate all the collaboration, because really this is trying to get to where we are more efficient and we're not losing time to get these agreements executed. And we also wanted to be consistent between the agreements where a locality may be using the CVTA regional dollars and VDOT, whoever is administering, we have consistent approach and timeliness, which I think is an enormous part of this effort. Mr. Gregory kind of mentioned it, the other efficiency we're seeking is that the request to the CTB will to grant authority to the commissioner to execute the agreement, which will make it much more of a straightforward process and should save time again when we get we have a long list, 10, 11 projects to get going. So we're looking forward to this moving forward. Thank you. Call it, sir.
Mr. Spinell.
Question for Mr. Cotton. Would this be in line with the other authorities in Hampton Roads, Northern Virginia?
You know, I was asked a similar question at the CTB meeting last week, and my response was, yes, I think this does bring it in better
But
alignment.
ours is better, right?
Well, I'll leave that to you to argue with them, sir. But I think what it does is it makes it consistent, and I think that was really the idea behind it, was trying to just get to where it was consistent, especially with board actions and delegated authorities, trying to just get it consistent, so. I'm not gonna speak to whether they're better or worse.
Consistency is good.
But Richmond is the best.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you. Consistency is good. So is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, if I could have a point of clarity. Each of the TAC members, we did send this agreement to our attorneys. So while Eric didn't consult, we consulted with our attorneys.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Gregory, I had a question about the agenda. There are a number of items here. We got A, B, C, D, and then we go all the way down to 10 and more. Is there a possibility that we can improve, particularly section D in a block?
I would like to say yes, Mr. Chairman, but because of the technical aspect of each one of these things having to fit together as like a puzzle piece, I would request that we just take each one step by step, and I will certainly try to help getting through A, B, and C, and then Mr. Parsons can take over with D and Romanettes little I through 11. If that's acceptable.
That's acceptable.
So the first item before you under action item 2A is a motion, and staff recommends a motion to approve the new standard model project agreement for VDOT administration of CVTA funded projects. And that can be a voice vote.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Clarification. So we're voting on attachment A, exhibit B revised?
That's correct.
Thank you.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The second item is item 2B, and the recommended action is to approve, a motion to approve and authorize execution of the draft first amendment to the VDOT CVTA memorandum of agreement. That is which will then incorporate attachment A, exhibit B as the new model SPA.
Any questions, comments to Mr. Gregory? Seeing none?
So moved.
Second. So the second has been moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Gregory?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the body, the third item is 2C. Recommended action is a motion to transfer the project information approved by the CVTA at the September 29th, 2023 meeting, conforming the agreements to the new SPA model project agreement format.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members of the body. I'll defer to Mr. Parsons to walk you through each specific project under 2D.
Mr. Parsons.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just a reminder that we did amend the agenda to include Roman numeral 11, which was the Fall Line Trail Design Build 1 project. We'll address that at the end of this list. So the actions requested of you this morning are to approve and authorize the execution of each special project agreement as listed, and I will start on page green 59. Yes, sir.
Oh, I know.
Do a roll call.
That's why I asked you that question earlier.
Sorry about that. So the detail here is the first project, item D1. We're requesting a motion to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 16, which is the I-64 Ashland Road interchange with CVTA funding in the amount of $33,699,829. These projects do match with the allocations plan that was approved December 8th of 2022, following round 2 of the regional funding decisions. So page 59 through 64 show that SPA in the new format that was just approved.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, is there a motion to approve?
I please move to approve.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I'll second that.
Pretty please.
It's been second, any discussion?
I held off on approving that because I know he wanted to vote.
I was like, people find your project and move it, okay? Make the motion. All right, Ms. Firestone.
Vice Chair Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Atkins.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson.
Aye.
Senator Hashmi.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Item D2, the motion requested is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 17, the I-64 Oilville Road interchange with CVTA funding in the amount of $606,000. And that is on page 65 of your agenda packet.
Any questions, discussions? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve item 2.
A motion.
Second.
Any other questions? Ms. Firestone.
Vice Chair Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Atkins.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson.
Aye.
Senator Hashmi.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The motion carries. Mr. Parsons.
Thank you. Item D3, the motion requested is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 18, the Bottoms Bridge Park and Ride, with CVTA funding in the amount of $198,047, and that will be on page 71 of your agenda.
Is there a motion? So moved. Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
And second. Any questions? Ms. Firestone.
Vice Chair Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Atkins. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson.
Aye.
Senator Hashmi.
Aye.
And Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Parsons.
Carries.
Item D4, the motion requested is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 20, Route 288 northbound, hard shoulder running, with CVTA funding in the amount of $8 million, and that's on page 77 of your agenda packet.
I'll move.
It's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Just second. Any discussion? Ms. Firestone.
Vice Chair Hodges. Mr. Atkins.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson. Senator Hashmi.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries.
The motion carries. Mr. Parsons.
Item D5, the requested motion is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 23, which is the Mayo Bridge replacement with CVTA funding in the amount of $5 million, and that's page 83 of your agenda packet.
Thank you.
I was gonna let you.
I guess I could do it too, but.
No, I'm gonna let you do it. You can second it.
Second that. Any questions? Ms. Firestone.
Vice Chair Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Atkins.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson. Senator Hashmi.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The motion carries. Mr. Parsons.
Right, item D6, the requested motion is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 24, the Port of Virginia Richmond Marine Terminal Access Improvements Project at I-95 and Bells Road, with CVTA funding in the amount of $2 million, and that is on page 89 of your agenda package.
Is there a motion? So moved.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any questions? Ms. Fires?
Vice Chair Hodges?
Aye.
Mr. Atkins?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour?
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Aye.
Mr. Thornton?
Aye.
Chair Stoney?
Aye.
Delegate Robinson?
Aye.
Senator Hashmi? Mr. Davis?
Aye.
The motion carries.
The motion carries. Mr. Parsons?
All right, D7, the recommended motion is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 26, Short Pump Area Transportation Improvements with CVTA funding in the amount of $4,985,000, and that is page 95 in your agenda package.
So moved.
The motion. There's been second.
I'm sorry, we did second.
Second is Mr. Otto.
He was so fast, he missed.
I know, that's right. Lightning fast. Sorry.
Vice Chair Hodges?
Aye.
Mr. Atkins?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour?
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Aye.
Mr. Thornton?
Aye.
Chair Stoney?
Aye.
Delegate Robinson?
Aye.
Senator Hashmi? Aye. And Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The motion carries. Mr. Parsons?
Thank you. The next item is D8. The recommended motion is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 33, which is the West Broad Street intersection improvements at Parham Road with CVTA funding in the amount of $2,611,000. Mr. Chair, I would note, page 101 in the agenda packet, the project name, I would request that the motion include a revision to strike the word short pump in the title and add Parham Road.
So moved. So moved and seconded?
Second.
Ms. Fires?
Vice Chair Hodges? Mr. Atkins?
Aye.
Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour? Mr. Spoonhour? Oh,
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Aye.
Mr. Thornton?
Aye.
Chair Stoney?
Aye.
Delegate Robinson?
Aye.
Senator Hashmi? Aye. Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Mr. Parsons?
Thank you. Item D9, the recommended motion is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 39, Staples Mill Road improvements with CVTA funding in the amount of $5,670,000. That's page 107 in your agenda packet.
Chair, before we move forward with that, I think we have a point of clarification. In the last one that we just voted on, we added Parham Road, but in the actual language, it actually says it's between Tom Leonard Drive and Pontchartrain Road, which is further west, so
Quite a bit.
I'm not sure that,
West of Parham, way from.
I'm not sure that it was appropriate to add Parham Road to that. It would have been probably more appropriate to add at least the language that's on the last page, which says Tom Leonard Drive and Pontchartrain. Mr. Thornton, would you concur with that?
Well, that's, clear language, I think,
Because it's on page 106, on the scope of service, on the last one we just voted on. If you read the actual language of the description, it actually says the location, which is Tom Leonard Drive, Pontchartrain. And so I think that, I'm not sure that adding Parham was an appropriate addition to that. But I'll check with also legal counsel on that.
Mr. Parsons, Mr. Gregory, you all want to chime in?
Waiting for clarification on the substantive content of the agreement, whether what is in the project name is consistent with the project details on Appendix A on page 106. So I'll just wait until Mr. Parsons can clarify.
Mr. Chair, I also have a question on the agenda amount, versus the amount that's on the agreement.
Yes, sir. I can verify that the points made by Mr. Atkins and Mr. Carroll are correct. The listing in the agenda itself on page 2 of the heading is incorrect. The agreement is actually. So it should be short pump in the amount of $3,230,000.
Okay, so not Parham Road.
That's correct. Thank you very much.
So what do we need to do to go back and
I
Correct the record.
think we need
Motion
to,
to
motion
reconsider.
to reconsider,
Item
since I
8.
voted on the prevailing side, motion to reconsider this item to correct the language.
Right, you'll need a second.
The motion to reconsider has been seconded. Any other,
Voice vote.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries.
That will take us back to item 8.
So we'll move back to, point D, item 8. Mr. O'Neill, a motion to approve the new language, correct? The revised language?
Yes, just want to allow Mr. Parsons to clarify what that would be, but I believe his approval or his agreement, I would say that the agreement should, the project name should be West Broad Street Improvements Short Pump, correct? And then
The amount.
in the motion should say West Broad Street intersection improvements at Parham Road actually should be stricken, and it should say in Short Pump with CVTA funding in the amount of
$3,230,000.
$3,230,000.
That amount would be what now?
This
Read
one.
out.
We're on number 8 now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right,
8.
okay, right,
$3,230,000.
gotcha, okay.
So item 8.
So I can read that recommendation?
Yeah, why don't you read that?
Yes, sir. The recommended motion for item D8, a motion to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 33, West Broad Street Intersection Improvement Short Pump, with CVTA funding in the amount of $3,230,000.
Is there a motion? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. Firestone?
Vice Chair Hodges. Mr. Atkins. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson.
Aye.
Senator Hashmi. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Mr. Atkins and Delegate Robinson and Mr. Carroll, thank you for catching that.
Yes. Well, and to legal counsel's option to make sure we do this one by one, actually, that was a good recommendation, and it's good we're doing it that way.
Could I ask for a clarification, Chair, about project number 26? The amount? I think it was the one immediately preceding the one we just.
The short pump area.
Seven was the one we just read that.
No, we just redid 8.
Yep. He's requiring a question on page 100 on the previous
100.
one.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Parsons, you want to speak to?
This 26 is fixed.
Yes, I would actually ask for clarification from VDOT on the amount requested. I know that this project was in partnership with Henrico County. So what is shown in the appendix is the amount, the 1.8 million is shown, the amount needed for the NEPA study, which is a split out. And is that what is requested as part of this? Okay, so same issue, Mr. Chair, I apologize. The agenda listing on page 2 of the agenda is incorrect. It should actually be, just the dollar amount should change. It's the same project, but
Yep.
it should be $1.8 million. So I would think Mr. Gregory would need a motion to reconsider again.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
hold on one second. We voted, I guess, on what was listed on the agenda, but we actually voted on what was actually in the packet, which actually had the correct information.
Correct, but as stated, the motion was to approve
Okay.
funding in the amount of $4,955,000.
I make a motion to reconsider.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Motion to reconsider has been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we have a motion to reconsider.
And now we need to reconsider item 7, and the motion needs to be properly referred to the amount as $1,800,000.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Chair, I can read that again.
Yes, please.
The recommended motion for item D7 is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 26, Short Pump Area Transportation Improvements with CVTA funding in the amount of $1.8 million.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Motion and second, any questions? Ms. Farson?
Vice Chair Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Atkins.
Aye.
Sorry, Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson.
Aye.
Senator Hashmi.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
That motion carries.
Mr. Davis, thank you for that catch. Okay, Mr. Parsons.
Item D9, the recommended motion is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 39, Staples Mill Road improvements with CVTA funding in the amount of $5,670,000. That is on page 107 of your agenda packet.
What
It
number
is
is that, Mr.
consistent.
Parsons?
Consistent with page 112, which is even more important.
So moved.
It's been moved, is there a
Second.
second? Ms. Farson?
Vice Chair Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Atkins.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson.
Aye.
Senator Hashmi.
Aye.
And Mr. Davis.
Aye.
That motion carries.
The motion carries. Mr. Parsons.
Thank you. Item D10, this one's a little bit unique. The recommended motion is to approve the CVTA VDOT Special Project Agreement for Project 45, which is the I-64 gap widening with CVTA funding in the amount of $100 million. The appendices for that project, which are on page 118 and 119, are split into two segments. The total of those two segments does equal $100 million. So this is the way that VDOT has requested the action take place so that they can administer it in two different sections.
$100 million. Don't see that number every day.
So moved.
Second, and I'd like to have a point of comment on this particular issue. This is a big milestone, I think, not just, the first time we passed a big project agreement was, I think, $105 million for the fall line. And it's unfortunate that Ms. Page is not here today because she was a big driving voice in this organization to get the CVTA on board to help fund this. So was Carlos Brown. So is the Secretary of Transportation, Shep Miller, for that matter. But what's really amazing is all the people in this room that work together collaboratively for what we believe is absolutely best for the region to put a project like this forward in such a big number in such the way that we did. And so I just want to say, I really appreciate the efforts that everybody did. And again, it's unfortunate that Patricia Page is not here today, but I wanted to make sure we did recognize the passion that she had, which I think she instilled in the rest of us, quite frankly. So I'm ready for a roll call vote unless someone else has some comments.
Mr. Thornton?
Mr. Chairman, I also wanted to add, as most of the persons who were here when we began with the word with a C. And I really think when you literally look at this initiative, this kind of personifies what the CVTA has been all about, and that C is collegiality, all of the members, making sure we're looking out for the total region. And I think that is so significant, and I just want to, piggyback on what Mr. Carroll said, particularly, which was husband by Ms. Page. So this really makes me feel proud of what CVTA has done over the years, but just particularly this particular project. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Thornton. Thank you, Mr. Carroll. All right. Ms. Farson?
Vice Chair Hodges.
Aye.
Mr. Atkins.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Big aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson.
Aye.
Senator Hashmi.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
That motion carries.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, the last item in this section of the agenda is item D11, which was the amended addition. This would be a recommended motion to approve the CVTA VDOT special project agreement for project 0002, which is the Fall Line Trail Design Build number 1, with CVTA funding in the amount of $8,381,111.
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Ms. Firestone.
Vice Chair Hodges. Mr. Atkins.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Spoonhour.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Aye.
Mr. Thorne.
Aye.
Chair Stoney.
Aye.
Delegate Robinson.
Aye.
Senator Hashmi.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
That motion carries.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Peterson.
I think it's wonderful that we can have such a good time and still get it right.
I agree on the enthusiasm to say yes on so many projects. I mean, unprecedented. All right, that wraps up section B of the action items for today. We'll now move on to committee reports, and we'll begin with the CVTA Finance Committee update. Ms. Page is not here, so Mr. Carroll, are you going to?
Well,
Mr. Chair, I can.
Oh, you're gonna take?
let Mr. Parsons.
Mr. Parsons gonna do that?
Take care of that.
All right,
Thank you.
It's
Actually,
great to have an executive director.
that's exactly right.
the Finance Committee did not meet in October. We are looking forward to our next meeting, which I believe is November 8th. No, it's November 15th. At that time, we will hear an update, which I'll provide a little bit of a preview under the Executive Director's report, but we're gonna continue working with PFM on preparing for possible bonding action later this year at the earliest, and that's something that we're excited to have the Finance Committee leading us on. The financial activities and investment reports are on page 120 through 125 of the agenda packet. Just wanted to note that we are continuing to work through the regular disbursements of 50% revenue back to the local governments. And all signs point to the sales and use tax continuing to grow. We are monitoring, as I believe I mentioned last month, the fuels tax revenues over time and seeing how that's gonna assist us in continuing to grow those accounts. We are looking towards another 6 months of good investments through the lead of Chesterfield County and our partners there. And as you can see on page 122 and 124, for FY24, the interest earnings have gone very well, and we are continuing to work with them to reinvest funds as they're available, in cooperation with reimbursing and spending funds on the projects that are needed in the region. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions on the report.
Any questions for Mr. Parsons? Mr. Spoonhour?
Mr. President, we might be able to take this offline, but if I look at the payouts to Goochland for 34.3-ish, that does not match what we just voted on, 42.2.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spoonhour, where are you?
So if I look at page 126, the distributions to Goochland for 34.3, that doesn't match what we just voted on.
Oh, gotcha. Yes, page 126, we're getting ahead a little bit. That's under the TAC report.
Oh, okay.
So we can provide some clarification there. Apologies.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Parsons? All right, then we'll move on to the TAC committee report then, with Mrs. Moore Clark.
Good morning, everyone. Diana Moore Clark here, TAC Chair. This, I guess I will do the first item, which is the candidate database, which you can find, starts on page 126 of the agenda packet. Just to get to Mr. Spoonhour's question. And so what you'll see in front of you is, the cover page is an outline of all of the dollars that have been committed by the CVTA to each of the respective localities. And then you can also see, depicting region-wide projects, on this front list. And then if you go further into the packet, you will see, you'll be able to see the administration of the project. So you'll be able to see that VDOT administers a lot, so then under their tab, they will have the projects that they administer, and so forth for each of the localities. This was done from looking at FY '23 to FY '29, and the original intent of this was directed to TAC to provide for financial assistance to Ms. Longacre, a spin down plan of when the dollars would be needed. And so again, from FY '23 to FY '29, those were compiled based on the locality's input or VDOT's input on when they would actually need the dollars. So that is what you're seeing through this packet. And I do believe, and Chet, you can help me on this, but Mr. Spoonhauer probably has those additional dollars that came from outside of Fall Line Trail area that's allocated to Goochland, that's not specifically allocated to that I-64 interchange. Do you remember it was about $1 million or so or less. When Fall Line Trail, when there were localities that the trail did not converse, localities were allocated. And so this depicts every dollar you receive from the CVTA. So the last project list was just specifically what VDOT is doing in regard to administering your segment, and that's where that 33 million number came from versus this 34 that you're seeing on this. This is every dollar that every person, locality has gotten appropriated to them from the CVTA.
What I think might be occurring based on your explanation, thank you very much for that, is we just approved 42.2 million for Goochland. Thank you all extremely much.
Oh, sorry about that.
Don't be sorry, that's fine. Maybe they fall outside the time frame that this represents, so maybe they go into further years.
I can clarify. So we did divide up this database, and Ms. Clark may have mentioned this is a work in progress. We haven't tracked like this before. So a couple points. This is only for the regionally funded projects. The numbers reflected here are true to every commitment made through round 2. So as of December of 2022, this is the funding that's been committed to each of the jurisdictions. After round 3, which we are in right now, probably January to February of 2024, we'll have a revised allocation plan that'll include round 3 commitments as well. The other thing to note, and I believe this might address your question, Mr. Spoonhauer, is that we have projects for each jurisdiction. So we have solely Goochland project, which is Oilville and Ashland Road. That's the 34 million three. But then we also have Powhatan Goochland projects. So the 288 northbound is listed separately in that summary table.
Okay, sure, perfect. Just want to make sure it's all accounted for. Get what's coming to it.
You'll make sure you get the full 42.
I do, I really do.
And this item did come from the TAC, and we wanted for information to the entire group, and I think, are we cleaning up some more, Chet, for the finance committee, the next finance committee meeting before we go for approval?
Yes, we haven't had finance committee look at it.
Okay.
So that's correct.
All right, so I will move on to my next item. Just a quick update on the Fall Line Trail Working Group. VDOT has been able to go to Route 10 from starting at Petersburg to Route 10 for the Design Build 2. And that was based on the actions from the authority of moving some of the DB3 dollars over to the Design Build 2 for Chesterfield County. So that's a big feat right there, because that will be a good section of the Fall Line Trail through Chesterfield that VDOT is administering that can be completed. We have been talking about the wayfinding package, but right now it currently has no cost accounted for. and TAC and CVTA staff are working to identify the best way forward. How can we leverage the grant funds that are available to actually get a wayfinding package dollar amount approved so that everyone has wayfinding signs when they're constructing their segments of the Fall Line Trail. Lastly, TAC is beginning a new process or exercise of collecting a wish list or a universe of projects from each locality. So I would ask for each of you to please get with your respective TAC representative and please provide your wish list to check as soon as possible. I think we may have sent a tentative date for TAC, but I would suggest before the next TAC meeting, you would want to have any wish list that your staff may not be aware of to be made aware of and submitted. Because TAC will then integrate, take the existing candidate projects with the wish list in a map form and a list form. So that's what we want to produce so that we can see, one, what we've already planned and funded, and then what the wish list looks like and where that connectivity and moving the region forward, what that looks like for everyone to see in accomplishing that wish list. Again, we hope to reveal what the true transportation funding needs are for the region today. We will use a variety of different project types along with developing test funding scenarios will be the final outcome of this task. Again, we're thinking that for the authority to visually see the proposed improvements and see the best way to move forward would be best way to financially move forward. So again, looking at this wish list, will we consider pay-go as a long-term strategy, or we consider bonding or a hybrid of those? So it's really starting to get that conversation started. And I do think that the executive director has more information or requests in regard to a finance working group so that we can continue to work with them specifically on the dollars that we're talking about and so forth. So with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Ms. Moore-Clark. Any questions for Ms. Moore-Clark? Seeing none. Thank you, Ms. Moore-Clark, for that. We'll move on to other business and the executive director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item is just sharing a couple items of correspondence that were sent out by me supporting two different projects. The first is on page 141, supporting a grant application submitted by GRTC in the city of Richmond for a pilot program for transit-oriented development planning. This was sent to the Federal Transit Administration on behalf of the CVTA. The second item was on page 142, supporting the Virginia Department of Transportation's application for a smart planning grant through the Federal Highway Administration. I just wanted to make you all aware of those two letters of support that were distributed. The next item, D1B, is an brief update on the Moody's evaluation. As you know, and as you approved, we are moving forward with our financial advisor team at PFM to go through an informal rating review with Moody's to see where we stand in terms of ability to issue bonds and what kind of standing CVTA would have in this initial round. Those dates are being planned. I'm coordinating with the chair so that we can have a meeting with a Moody's advisor later this fall to keep that process moving forward. We will have a more detailed presentation with the Finance Committee at their meeting on November 15th to lay out more details there. So that is exciting. The next item, unless there's any questions on that, would be item D1C, the round 3 project application cycle. This is directly related to what Ms. Clark was just talking about. On page 143 it's basically a worksheet showing what we have available now. If CVTA took the direction to move forward with the same process for funding and supporting projects through the existing PAYGO model. Through FY30, the information on this page 143 to note is the bottom right box that says total and total minus reserve. Through FY30, if we kept a reserve, a 3-month reserve, we would have essentially $185 million to spread across the entire region to support new projects that haven't already had commitments over the next 7 years. That is assuming a direction forward with the PAYGO model. What's in the bank is what we can use. So that is kind of our starting point. This is directly related to the point Ms. Clark made about having a wish list. What I would really like to have is, we know, on one side, we know what we've committed to. We know the funds that are already essentially tied up with project commitments. I would really like to have the other side, which is an understanding of, here are all the financial needs for transportation improvements in the region that have not been requested, that have not been applied for through the CVTA, so that we can then say, well, here's our delta. This is the additional funding that we're going to need. Can we cover that in the PAYGO model with the $185 million? Or do we need to look at other options? So as we move through this ratings process and considering issuance of bonds, that type of information will be really helpful to understand what our true need is across the 9 jurisdictions, so that we're able to better prepare for, and this authority is fully plugged into understanding what those dollar amounts are going to be, so that we can support each of you as we move into the next 6 years plus.
Mr. Peterson.
But this, the 183 that we have here, this is pure PAYGO, in other words, this is the bottom.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a general idea of how much can be leveraged with that 183, which would be the absolute top number? We're probably gonna be
So that would
somewhere in
depend on-
between, but that would be a good point, number to just have for balancing out.
And that's certainly a conversation the finance committee can have with our financial advisor. I believe, if I remember correctly, when we looked at the leveraging, we had talked about only using one half of the sales stream only. And so we'd have to look at what that is and then see what portion of that $183 million is part of that, and then look at it from that perspective. But I don't have the numbers in front of me. And
No, but I'm just trying to bring it up, because I'm obviously looking at the bottom end, we look at the top end, and we're probably someplace in the middle where we want to be, but,
Are they here? No, I don't think they are.
Not right now.
We'll get that from TFM and have that ready for the next meeting.
You get something to dig in finance committee as well. Any other questions for Mr. Parsons?
Mr. Chair, the last item I had under the director's report is to put a pin in your calendar that we are tentatively working with Plan RVA and the TPO to schedule the transportation forum for March 15th. I don't think that will replace our March meeting, but it'll be an additional opportunity for us all to get together and talk transportation for the region. I think the plan right now, Ms. Firestone, is to follow a similar model to last year with Main Street Station and the type of event that was held there. I think it worked out very well for everyone. So just to put that on your calendar to hold that date.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Parsons? All right, we'll move on to member comments. Are there any comments from the members of the authority?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Thornton.
you indulge me for a moment. I want to say that there is a thing called modesty, and then there's another position called tooting your horn. Most of us, I think, are modest, but I just want to say in my culminating days that the commissioners of the CVTA, each of them has been given metaphorical flowers. And one of the reasons is that the public has no idea of the ideas and legislation that comes before this group. And many times the work that we do is not thought very highly of. But I just want to say, as a person that's been around in the area a few years, that for each of you who've been part of this and also representing your responsibilities and localities and other things, that you are to be highly acclaimed. And if someone from another planet could just zoom in on us, they would say, what's going on there? And they would say, you know, those people have possibility. So Mr. Chairman, I just want to say that, you know, no one will come in here and say that to us, but we need to know when to say it ourselves. So I said to each of you, I thank you for that little citizen who not articulate maybe enough to come before when we have public comments. But that's very important. And we probably should have had this entity years ago, but we didn't have it. But we did get it recently. And since we have taken it, we're using it and running, in my opinion, in a very positive direction. And I would hope that the minutes will show that in our infancy years, we were always trying to be thoughtful, thinking of the public, thinking of new ideas that we can have, but always trying to put the best foundation. And I just want to say that on behalf of the commissioners. Thank each of you for what you've done. And we won't get those kudos anywhere else. But we need to know when I do our own. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thornton. Mr. Carroll?
There's a humble fellow right there. But you have to remember, he was our chair for 2 years, and he helped us get this thing out of the ground. And I want to tell you that there are people who are giving us kudos. They may not be in this room, but when I talk with people in Ettrick about the Fall Line Trail and other parts of Chesterfield County, the excitement about the Fall Line Trail is far more greater than you can possibly imagine. The people cannot wait for it to come out of the ground and have the opportunity to use that. And every time I tell them more and more people about it, they're like, wow, that is a really spectacular thing. And I say, well, that was just the power of the CVTA. And quite frankly, if the CVTA had not been created, I don't know that that project would be coming out of the ground. And so it was the wisdom of everyone here under your leadership that really in the future, when people are walking up and down that road, they may not remember who we are. But I'm gonna make sure they put a QR code somewhere so that when someone takes their phone and hits it, they know that you were the chair of this organization when that got approved. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Thorne, I'm not gonna give you your metaphorical flowers just yet, because we do have one more meeting. And that meeting is on December 1st, where we'll also take a group picture there as well, so come dressed to impress. But then, Mr. Thornton, I will laud you with the praise that you deserve as you wind down not just your service to the CVTA, but your service to Henrico County and Metro Richmond as well. But until then. Mr. Spoonow.
Mr. Chair, I just want to take a minute. It's hard to follow this, but I will try. I'm going to be completely honest. When we were in Goochland, we were doing our organizational meeting, and we were talking about the CVTA and what was this and what did the General Assembly do and what do we get dragged into. I don't typically speak for my board, but I can pretty much say that we pretty much thought we were going to be a donor county with regional projects. We looked at the amount of votes we had. We looked at what we're going to be contributing, and our wildest dreams, we never would have imagined that the region would come together to see projects to move people to and through Goochland County like they had. And I have become such a fan of the regional, I would use the phrase coopetition that we have, and just the relationships that I've built both here, Arcadio and Canary. I'm such a fan that I want to introduce two gentlemen that are sitting in the back of the room, Mr. Jonathan Lyle and Mr. Tom Winfrey. They are unopposed candidates for Goochland County Districts 5 and Districts 3 respectively. And I wanted to see, as you know, something catastrophic doesn't happen, you may see them at these meetings as we have our January meeting. And just wanted to introduce them, but just thank you and thank the region for everything we've done and the friendships and the relationships that we've built.
Awesome. Welcome, gentlemen.
We're looking forward to it.
Well, you had Mr. Spoonhauer over here fighting for your $42 million, so that's a, that's a good start.
It didn't look like it was much of a fight.
Yeah, you know, it was.
We do appreciate it, seriously. Thank you so much.
Any more? Any other comments, questions, suggestions, recommendations, concerns? All right.
I think one more,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. Just some clarification on the picture. I think that I'll give metaphorical flowers to Ms. Firestone. She became aware that we don't have a picture of the inaugural class. So the best we have is an overhead view of the convention center with everybody spaced out, and it didn't really qualify. So what we want to try and do on an annual basis now is take a picture of each class of the CVTA so that we can memorialize that and use it as we continue to move forward. So yes, December 1st, please try and be here if possible so that we can make sure that everyone is part of that photo. Thank you.
And Mr. Todd and Mr. Peterson.
Just want to add one number to it, because I'm an engineer numbers guy. The total for those agreements is about $168 million. And the largest portion of that's already in motion, that we will begin construction on I-64 segment A, which some of that funding goes to in the coming weeks. So just know that those dollars are already in motion, going to work in the communities you serve and that we serve. So thank you for the support. We've got a lot of work to do on our end, and the team is looking forward to getting going. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. Thank you, VDOT.
Yeah.
Mr. Peterson.
I just wanted to suggest that our December meeting, there was a half dozen or so people that were part of this inaugural. Can we invite them so that we can get, hopefully, a picture?
First class picture.
Of the inaugural.
That's a great idea.
Let's do it. All right. I think we've met the end. Seeing no business, no further business, this meeting is adjourned.